that all men have inalienable rights to think freely, to talk freely, to write freely their own opinions, and to counter or utter or write upon the opinions of others.
This is from the Creed of the Church of Scientology. Hey everybody, I'm Holly, aka the ScientoloGeek, and welcome to the 43rd episode of Going Over the Data series. Today we're actually going to be able to cover two policy letters, so we're going to cover one regarding how the right why can open the door to handling, which I feel like we should already know this by now. Why does it need to be a policy letter? As well as a list of plus points. We have gone over a lot of out points, but I haven't seen too many plus points, so it'll be nice to get a better feel for what those are. I'm assuming they're just the opposites of out points. If you want access to any of this documentation, the data series, the volumes, tech, policy, whatever, flag orders, base orders, then feel free to hit me up at scientologeek@gmail.com, or you can go to my Discord server, link in the description, and then just DM me from there with a valid Gmail address, because I'm sending out invites through Gmail, so Gmail is the only one accepted for permissions. And without further ado, let's get started. So let's take a look at the HCO policy letter of the 12th of August, 1974, called Whys Open the Door.
You can really understand a real why if you realize this. A real why opens the door to handling. If you write down a why, ask this question of it. Does this open the door to handling? If it doesn't, then it's a wrong why. Backtracking to find how it's wrong, one examines the ideal scene and situation one already has. The outpoints should be checked. The completeness of data should be checked. One may find he's in a wrong area of the scene. Correct that, correct the ideal scene, correct the situation, and look for more data. With the outpoints of more data, one can achieve the real why that will open the door to handling. Quite often, an evaluator knows the why before he begins. This is fatal. Then why evaluate? Some of the most workable whys I've ever found surprised me. So usually I also ask, did I know this? Am I surprised? The chances are, if I knew it already and the situation still exists, it's a wrong why and needs proper evaluation. When you have a right why, handling becomes simple. The more one has to beat his brains for a bright idea to handle, the more likely it is that he has a wrong why. So if you're not a bit surprised, and if the handling doesn't leap out at you, then the why has not opened the door and is probably wrong. I've seen evaluators take weeks to do an evaluation. In such cases, they went on and on, reading as they did not know how to find a real why. Actually, they did not know what one was. By going through the total current files of an activity looking for outpoints, just by randomly glancing at datasheets from all sources, you can find the area. Outpoints lead you straight to it. An ideal scene for that smaller area is fairly easy to envision. The type of outpoint will generally give you how the departure is. One can then get the situation. By looking over it in detail now, the data of that smaller area and counting the outpoints, one can find the why. The why will be how come the situation is such a departure from the ideal scene and will open the door to handling. If it doesn't, then review the whole thing. Do the steps again. Don't just sit and sag. Let's say we find outpoints of added inapplicable data in all reports, and they lead to reception. The ideal scene of reception is easy, attractive, pleasant atmosphere, welcoming in the public. We find more detailed reports that the place is full of junk and filthy, and we get our situation. Public repelled by filthy, messy reception. Now why? So back to the real data, and we find the janitor never cleans it, or anything else. The easy out is just sack the janitor and leave the post empty, but that won't handle, so we have no why. So we dig, and suddenly we find that the staff refer to the janitor in lowly and disrespectful terms. Janitor has no status. Well, the outpoints all say so, and it opens the door to a handling. So we handle by transferring the janitor org board position from Treasury, where it went, as he, quote, looks after assets, to the office of the president with the president's secretary as his direct senior. We write up a program for clean offices. Magic, the offices get clean, the public comes in again. The ideal scene is attained. Just
Because something's clean doesn't mean the public will come.
You may think this example is pretty unreal, but actually it happened once and worked. So a right why opens the door to handling. If it doesn't, look harder. There's always a reason for things.
The reason doesn't always have to be within your organization. It could be outside influences.
And if your ideal scene and situation are correct, you can find the real why that opens the door.
All right, let's skip to the HCO policy letter of the 3rd of October, 1974, called Plus Point List.
The following is a list of plus points which are used in evaluation. Needless to say, plus points are very important in evaluation as they show where logic exists and where things are going right or likely to. Related facts known, all relevant facts known. Events in correct sequence, events in actual sequence. Time noted, time is properly noted. Data proven factual, data must be factual, which is to say true and valid. Correct relative importance, the important and unimportant are correctly sorted out. Expected time period, events occurring or done in the time one would reasonably expect them to be. Adequate data, no sectors of omitted data that would influence the situation. Applicable data, the data presented or available applies to the matter at hand and not something else. Correct source, not wrong source. Correct target, not going in some direction that would be wrong for the situation. Data in same classification, data from two or more different classes of material not introduced as the same class. Identities are identical, not similar or different. Similarities are similar, not identical or different. Differences are different, not made to be identical or similar. The use of the word plus point in an evaluation without saying what type of plus point it is a deficiency in recognizing the different plus points as above. It'd be like saying each outpoint's simply an outpoint without saying what outpoint it was. In doing evaluations to find why things got better so they can be repeated, it's vital to use the actual plus points by name as above. They can then be counted and handled as in the case of outpoints. Plus points are, after all, what make things go right.
So, what did we cover today? Well, we learned that an easy method of handling should be able to kind of just pop out at the evaluator. It should be easy to spot a proper why. If you are taking too long to think about how to handle a situation, then you are likely having a wrong why, and you need to figure out what's going on with that. I don't think a why is necessarily going to be, or a method of handling a why is going to be easy to discover and to immediately implement. Especially with all the outside influences that Scientology has on it nowadays, with all the interference and how people don't like it and the negative press coverage. We also looked at a list of plus points, which are basically nothing but the opposites of out points. And I mean, the first policy letter in this video could have just been ditched, in my opinion. We could have just left it to the side and just not gone through it, because I feel like we've gone through it in the entirety of this series. If you are unaware, I have taken up Mark Headley's birthday game challenge, which means I want to get my stats up as much as possible by March 13th. So feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this, interact with these videos, because I have noticed that my recent data series, going on course videos, and I think I put out something else too. Oh, the podcast episode with Talorks. I've noticed that the views are significantly reduced as compared to previous videos of the same type. So if you guys could up that interaction, that would be fantastic. Make sure you guys are getting notified or are getting aware of my uploads. So, like I said, hit that notification bell. It makes it more likely that my videos will get to you. And I will talk to all of you later. See you.